start the recording and we
Yep.
can go ahead and get started.
Ready.
Just for the sake of YouTube, it'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about. All right, so there we looked away from Reinhardt for like half a second. So
Mm-hmm.
McCree. First off, we're lagging a little bit behind, so it looks like we came out of spawn
Yeah.
late behind everyone. So I think that's something we talked about last time, wasn't it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. So making sure that we're sticking with our team because here we are lagging behind everyone. We're also starting off with the fight with 5 ammo for some reason, so it looks like we're like overhealing in spawn or something like that. Right.
Maybe.
So
Yeah.
we have four shots left, right? So just a couple like repeat things that are happening here. Right. So Kali needs some healing. We get him with the
Uh-huh.
heals. Um.
But
All
not
right.
really. Look at him. He's still critical.
So
Ooh.
that
Through the
was
wall.
I think what happened there? Did he take more damage or did it just take a?
I
No.
thought I
Okay.
got him.
Yeah. That was weird. It wasn't. It didn't seem like I healed him very much.
Mm-hmm.
You see like a little burst of healing and then that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in any case,
Okay.
we healed them and then we looked back. So yeah, the big issue here was that we were lagging behind, and then because we were lagging
Mm-hmm.
behind, that meant that we were now incapable of getting to the Reinhardt in time. But the other
Mm-hmm.
thing we could do here is if we see the Reinhardt's critical, we toss in an immortality and then turn around to heal him. Or the other thing is that if we see Reinhardt's critical, which we do here in the situation, like right before we turn around, who's in more danger, McCree or Reinhardt?
Reinhardt.
Yep. So in the
Yeah.
situation, we probably want to put our attention and focus into the Reinhardt, throw a lamp for
Mm-hmm.
him, heal him up, and then we turn around and help the McCree because McCree is not shouldn't be the priority at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of that, Reinhardt dies.
I see. I see. Right.
All right, and then that's
Yeah.
first fight, which again, remember, just by the little itsy bitsy thing of walking out of spawn,
Mm-hmm.
late on the first fight means that now we end up losing the first. Sorry, that then we end up losing the first fight, and then that could end up snowballing into the first round, and then that ruins morale, and then all a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
negative consequences. So
A lot of times I'll say to the team, I'm not with you, and they charge ahead
mm.
anyway.
So
But
yeah, and in those cases, we have two different things. First off, like there's the cases where that's not where that is our fault, and
mhm,
maybe we should have just been with them to begin with. But then there's also cases where it's not going to be our fault, and we're just like naturally behind them just because that's how something that happened in the game. Maybe we died like slightly late, right?
mhm.
Or something like that. In those cases, we just maybe be like that's on them to listen to, but you also just want to make sure that you're calling like over anything that they're saying. You're saying, wait, you're down a person, right? Just
Yeah.
like be commanding with it and make sure
Yep.
you're being heard. But
Mhm.
if you're talking like that and they're still not listening, then that's something that they need to work on.
Yeah.
So like,
I I don't know if I'm commanding enough.
mm,
I think I need to work on that. Okay, here he waits. That's nice.
mm,
Okay. Oh yeah.
all
Fuck.
right,
Oops, sorry. Oopsie.
you're good. All
Careful.
right. So here, I probably would say it would have been a good idea to throw Lamp a little bit earlier because there
Mhm.
Reinhardt could have just kept swinging on our Ryan. So then Reinhardt charges in and we Lamp way too far, right? So
Mhm.
we're kind of delayed with the Lamp, and then Lamp goes off into Narnia. So we just want to make sure that our lamps go into the right place. We also jump into the middle of the fray, so we want to make sure that we're not leaping into people because here we could have sat back and your lamp doesn't get caught by people, right? It's not like it's gonna hit anything, so we don't have to worry about that.
I didn't
Um,
know he was gonna charge that
mhm.
this way. I thought he was gonna stay there, so that was just very unfortunate. I don't
Yeah,
know how I could have
and
done that
even if
different.
he stayed over there, still probably wouldn't have been a good idea because when we leap into their team here, it's just as we
Mhm.
see, it's gonna get us killed. So if you're trying to, for example, the only reason why I could see us doing this is like if we're trying to get our heals to him, in which case we can just leap straight up, right? And then this way we're
Mhm.
getting out of line of sight of our team while also being able to heal them. We can get on top of this thing or whatever, right? We just don't want to be running into
Oh.
them. Which here we're gonna notice that we do run into him. What character?
Mhm.
We are 11. All right.
Mhm.
Um, so we just want to make sure that we're not doing that because then we just die as a result.
Right, right, right. Okay.
So
I see.
us making some mistakes there basically like so that fight was basically on us particularly because we
Mhm.
let Reinhardt die and then we fed, right?
Yeah. Should I have lamped where I was
Hmm.
standing and just have him and
Go.
throw projectile heals and jump up like you said?
Yeah, okay. So you
Mm.
probably should have been lamping the Reinhardt, but when he was we just kind of reacted to the charge a little bit late. So
Mhm.
lamping where you were standing is fine after he charged through, because then that he actually ended up where your charge was at, right?
Got it.
But we could have also lamped. He might not have been. Maybe he wouldn't have felt pressured to charge if he had a lamp over on the other side or something like that,
Right.
right?
Got it.
So the lamp also came out slightly late.
Mhm.
Right, so we're looking for our ult here.
How about a little extra here? All better for now.
We
Oh.
kind of stepped into the ult there. Make sure we're watching for the grab here. It's out for like a second or two, and then we walk into it. So grab one,
All better
two, right, and then we,
for
we
now.
kind of walked into that one. So that's a big one. Also making sure maybe we're using our ult earlier in the fight, right? We've talked about that before of just making sure we're
Mhm.
using ult earlier in the fight, and then that's hopefully going to allow us to get kills before the fight even begins. We're also lagging behind our team. Remember, we've talked previously
Mhm.
about how we want to be sticking basically inside of them, especially when we're rotating, and then also just positioning wise, Baptiste gets the most value by being inside of his team. So here we had tons of time to wait. We were just kind of waiting here. We just want to take this time to position ourselves like next to Reinhardt rather than being
Okay.
so far back, because then we just end up really far back, and then now we're lagging behind them, right?
All
So
better
cobble different
I
things right off
for
the
think
bat.
I think I do that quite a bit in this game, actually stepping into a grab.
Hmm. Right here,
Yeah.
after we get out of it, try to run
Mhm.
to the right to get around the corner, because McCree is still not fired. And if we stand here, then that's extra damage that could be going through and breaking Reinhardt's shield. So here we want to get out of the way so that we're not allowing McCree to shoot at one extra target, which would end up killing somebody, right? So in this situation, we want to back up, and so the Reinhardt's shield isn't breaking, because here, because we're standing there, both Reinhardt and Reaper die. Whereas if we weren't standing there, maybe only Reinhardt would die, right?
Mm.
Maintain that positive attitude. I have found the enemy. Come and face me.
All right, so May's hiding behind us.
Mhm.
We're not lagging too far behind her team. We're pretty close to them. She just tosses it in top of us. That's unfortunate. Okay, good lamping right
Mhm.
before you die there. Maybe pop a shift too, just so you have the healing going.
Mhm.
But besides that, that was just kind of well played by the May. Good
Mhm.
placement on our ult, and then we died. Try to here we. It looks like actually we threw lamp a little bit too far. Make. Oh no, no, sorry.
Oh
That's
yeah.
no, 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 no. Never mind. That was no, no. We were in it. That's my bad. I was looking at their lamp.
Oh yeah.
I saw their blue
Same.
lamp. Yeah, I thought that blue lamp was our lamp.
Uh-huh.
All right. So yep,
Okay.
not we didn't make too many mistakes there.
Okay.
C'est encore en route.
All right. So just already, even though we're like 15 minutes in, I would
Mhm.
just like to say so, and of course we'll continue here, but
Mhm.
just one thing I might recommend is that it's looking like a lot of the same repeat stuff as
Yeah.
we've talked about previously, since we've done so many sessions before. And one
Mhm.
thing that I think might be slightly helpful is to just so that we're also just to give you the most bang for your buck, is maybe we could take
Mhm.
like a 2 week break this time rather than a 1 week break, and then that would
Okay.
hopefully give you time to look to work on and fix some of these things, so that
Okay.
we're not just next time, hopefully we're not going over the exact same repeat stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or at least you've gotten better with it or something of the sort, right? Because it's just seeming like a lot of the same, like, cuz that's why I don't need to go into depth on anything here, because it's just like
Mhm.
you know what I'm talking about when I say it, right?
Mhm.
um
Yeah.
so that hopefully would help fix it, but of course we'll just continue on with the session here and
Yeah.
just keep going, but and just so you have what you're working on for the two
Yeah.
weeks. All
I
right.
also should probably share comps games with you instead of
Mm.
just team stuff because I know I play pretty differently. I'm a lot more
Uh.
aggressive in comp than I am with team.
Mhm.
So might do that the next time we meet as well.
All right. Sounds
Okay,
good.
cool.
Enemy contact.
Regen up. Got
All
your
right, nice
turret
shift
ready.
usage. Honestly, I haven't been seeing a ton of overhealing. It's just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll keep an eye on it. Like, so here, Lucio's still low. Overhealing a little bit on the Reinhardt, right? That now we're
Mm-hmm.
getting into overhealing, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
and then part of that's gonna come from our camera angle of just pay attention to this because like I think one of the reasons why and I've seen this a lot with BAP players. One of the reasons why BAP is
Mm-hmm.
such a big overhealer is because take a look at your camera angles while we're shooting, right? So when we start shooting at people, right, we're angled so far down that it's actually much more difficult for like from where our crosshairs to everybody else to see the health bars, right? And we're actually like when we're like at these
Yeah.
angles, we can't see health bars, can't really see too many health bars, right?
Oh.
And then in a moment like we're about to look even further down, right? I guess it's not insanely far down, but it's gonna be blocked by health bars could be blocked by some of your UI. Health bars are just gonna be a lot harder to actually see because the further away it is on your screen, the harder it is to see. So something we could try is
Mm-hmm.
just try angling up slightly more, or like
Mm-hmm.
go when shoot look up or something like that.
Oh,
Just of the
good.
sort. Just so we're paying attention to the health bars and we're not overhealing because here we do overheal in the Reinhardt a little bit. Right. Make sure we're shooting a little bit more often here. It's looking like I think that's maybe something we talked about before as well, right? But it's looking like we're not shooting at all, right? So if we just like fast
Mm-hmm.
forwarded through a little bit of this, we could even so we're at 520. We'll just fast forward here. We go okay. Right click, right click, right click, right click, right click. Okay, a little bit of shooting. Right click. Right, more right clicking. We're getting to the next fight. We'll go back in time. I'm just trying to get the
Mm-hmm.
point across.
Mm-hmm.
Right clicks. Right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, right. Okay, it's continuing the right click. Okay, a little bit of shooting. Right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, right click. Okay, a little bit of shooting. Right click, right click, right click, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we do a little bit of shooting, a little bit of shooting. So it's just it's kind of like if I were to put a number on it, it'd be like 80% right click, which
Mm-hmm.
I would say isn't terrible. And of course, like I've always been saying, of course it's not gonna be terrible because we're working with a higher level of gameplay here, but it's still inefficient. So what we should the kind of the better route that we're going to be looking to take is more so like 60% of the time is right click,
Okay.
40% of the time is shooting, and that's because people don't need healing all the time, and we understand that because we've talked about overhealing before. Is that there's a
Mm-hmm.
ton of times we're overhealing because we kind of have the assumption, or at least with our gameplay, or like maybe it's just a subconscious thing where we kind of think we have the negative, or sorry, we have the misunderstanding that people need healing all the time, right? Which isn't the
Yeah.
case. People aren't going to need healing all the time. Because we are overhealing a ton there, right? So in those cases where we're overhealing, that's perfect opportunities where we could be substituting that out for damage, which means now you're actually getting more ult charge because you're actually doing something where versus doing nothing. You're getting damage in, you're getting more kills, and then this also is going to allow you to train your aim. It's going to allow you to have more of an
Mm-hmm.
active role in carrying in a team and ranked environment. If you're getting more kills, you're having more of an impact, right? So we just want to look to be shooting more often, look to make sure we're not overhealing, and then that stems from the awareness of paying attention to health bars, right? And paying
Mm-hmm.
attention to when are people full HP.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we skip back a little bit here. So we're gonna have our ults.
Regen up.
So like right now, every single
Right.
person on our team is full HP. Crosshair
Yeah.
should therefore be in this direction. We're just getting in some spam damage, right? We're at
Okay.
91 currently, right? We just want to get in some damage. That way we have our ultimate for when the fight starts, right? Because if we're at 95 when the fight starts, that means that
Mm-hmm.
they could potentially use their ults before we do, and then therefore they get the advantage, right? So we just want to get the extra bit of ult charge in, right? By getting damage in, whereas here we're not doing anything.
Right. Right. Oh, that's a good one. Right.
Okay, overhealing still. Make sure charging up that jump fully.
Right.
I'm keeping
Okay,
tabs.
overhealing still. Shift wasn't really too useful. McCree's still low up top on the high ground, so here we could have potentially like leapt up to him if we just charged up a shift,
Mm-hmm.
which takes a second or two, Alright,
Mhm.
max. Alright. A lot of spam right clicks.
Yeah.
Regen burst activated.
This one for sure. I was feeling all over the place.
Yep.
But I got the echo.
Yep. Alright, so now we're coming in here looking for our ultimate.
Going free. Adaptive circuits engaged. Reinhardt. Огонь по готовности.
Oh. Delayed on the immortality. Right, we saw that a little while. Like we saw that coming, right? We had a ton of time to react to that. We see the sleep, we see the charge here, right? And then from that point to the contact on the wall, it's like 2 seconds. 1, 2, right? And
Right.
we use it's just a delayed reaction, so make sure we're paying attention to that. Here, maybe make sure we're like up on the high ground rather than just sitting on the low ground, which should put us out of range of people. So we have that
Mhm.
high ground and this high ground, right? Probably the middle high ground to just get us away from McCree. Also, ultimate usage again, once again, like we've talked about before the session, and
Mhm.
in other sessions, make sure that we're using it early in fights, just as a reminder, right? Ults that are
Mhm.
used first get more value than ults that are used second. So here we're just holding on to our ultimate till after shatters come out. On our or on their team, they've grabbed, they've valked, they've nanoed, and then we've used shatter, right? And they also used echo as well. So they've used 4 ults before we've used our ult, and then therefore we're going to be at a big disadvantage, and they've gotten picks already out of it. And then now we've
Mhm.
lost the fight, and Lamp's not gonna, and then our ultimate's not gonna do anything, right?
Right.
So now we just never didn't ever get a chance to use it at that point, right? So we just want to make sure we
Mhm.
look into actually use our ult. We're not holding on to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it sound cool. All better. For now.
Yeah, over healing. Just use time to reload.
Regen burst activated.
Okay, decently good Lamp.
Let them out.
Okay, good. There's a couple times I had bad positioning. This is not the best positioning either.
With
Should it be more forward?
with our positioning, no, I think we're fine where we're at.
Oh,
More
okay.
more forward might just put us in line of sight of more things. I think. Are you talking about your ultimate or
Oh,
your
the
positioning?
old, the
Okay.
old
Oh yeah,
echo.
yes. So the ultimate, yes. I thought you were talking about your
Okay.
positioning. Sorry, my
Okay.
misunderstanding. Yeah. So
Mhm.
the ultimate here probably would have been needed to be a little bit more forwards because notice
Yeah.
how it's like we get one kill and then they're all gone, right? In
Mhm.
that situation, right? They have this cornered background, but what happens if we instead put this right on the Reinhardt's body here, and where are they gonna go now? Right?
Right.
We're all out in
Right.
the
Right.
open, not real too many places to run, right? So we just want to make sure that that's more so where our ult's going. We want to. It's like kind of like the same way you'd use a high noon, or the same way that you'd use, oh, I don't even know what other ult I'm gonna compare it to, but
Mhm.
you're using it when people are out in the open and they can't run away, and we're also positioning it to where our team can shoot through that, right? Because now our team's just gonna
Mhm.
all walk through it, and it's not really
Mhm.
gonna do a whole lot. Now we do get healing through it, and the timing was good. I like the way
Mhm.
you used it the start of that fight. Good shift usage. Shifts on been looking pretty perfect. No problem with our
Mhm.
shifts. So just quick strengths and weaknesses. Shift perfect. So we'll just call it the lamp usage category for this time around, right?
Mhm.
Lamps in general have been seeming all right. They haven't been honestly seeming the most terrible. They're slightly inconsistent, so I'd probably say at the
Mhm.
moment they're maybe looking like in the middle of medium priority. Ish. Right? We'll keep an eye on
Yep.
it for now. Ultimate usage, probably say is around the same. It's not
Mhm.
great. It's not terrible. Maybe I've seen us mess up our ult slightly more often than our lamp usage, so maybe I put ultimate usage slightly higher than lamp usage. So maybe like we'd have lamp as like a medium, a low to medium, and then and then ultimate usage would be a medium, right? And then
Mhm.
some of the bigger ones would be the other three, right? So positioning, self positioning, honestly hasn't been too terrible. I'd
Mhm.
probably put that as a low to medium. Biggest one would just be maybe taking high ground, and then also just making sure we're staying with our team, right, and not lagging
Yeah.
behind them. And then besides that, the other two biggest ones here are our mechanics and our awareness. These ones are
Mhm.
going to go pretty high. So mechanics, particularly with overhealing and making sure we're shooting and kind of managing when we're shooting or like left clicking versus right clicking. That one's pretty high, so let's put that as a like a medium high. And then of
Mhm.
course awareness is still looking like it's the top of the charts, being a high priority, as it's just feeding into a ton of other stuff. It's feeding into it's feeding into the
Mhm.
entire like the awareness is feeding into the entirety of our mechanics category, which
Yeah.
is the number 2 spot, because without when we have good awareness, we therefore have the ability to stop overhealing and to shoot more often and with our left click,
Mhm.
right? So that's going to completely resolve that category. But honestly, like in if we're getting to the main points, I might say just like focus on the like at the very end. I might just say like focus on the mechanic stuff first, because that's more
Mhm.
targeted, and it's just like it's going to be easier to focus on just overhealing and shooting more often than it will be to focus on all of awareness. But other awareness
Mhm.
things to just be focusing, like, paying attention to where our team is, the enemy team is, make sure we're reacting faster with lamp, so that
Mhm.
our whatever Reaper wasn't getting charged into the wall, right? Um, Paying attention to where when do we need to use what abilities, right? And other things that feed into awareness, right? That we
Mhm.
are probably going to be continuing to go over, right? So that's just kind of the
Right.
rough priority for now.
I'm on fire.
All right, a little bit out in the open. Make sure we're not doing unnecessary leaps, especially when being shot at by hit
Mhm.
scan characters. Remembering that it's going to be actually easier for a hit scan to kill us if we're leaping around. To like McCree, make sure we're just not doing it out in the open in front of the McCree, unless it's with a purpose to like get to a high ground or something like that, right? So
Right.
here we just kind of hopping out in the open when it's not necessary.
I'm on fire.
All right, standing out in the open. Maybe take high ground rather than just leaping in the middle of nowhere, right?
Mhm.
All right. Lovely, lovely waiting for the enemy team or whatever. Just, I remember that from scrims. Whoa, what happened?
I don't know what happened.
Looks like we
I-
all, like a couple people stood up.
Oh, we paused. I think there was a pause here for some reason.
Everyone else was moving around.
Yeah,
Regen
that was
burst
weird. I
activated.
don't know. I don't remember.
Huh. Well,
Get inside.
good lamp. Maybe could, I mean, a good timing with it to correct it, but positioning
Okay.
wise, maybe it could have been further this way,
Right.
because that would have been, able to cover more space with people, as well as being around the corner rather than out in the open,
Right.
right? So just making sure we're getting it around the corner, right?
Mhm.
And Marone's full HP, right?
Mhm.
And then you can see how, again, we're kind of like aiming so far low that we can't really see much anyways of health bars.
Yeah, I think I'm being overly mindful of not shooting at people, but shooting at their feet. But I
Hmm.
should be looking up more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
Regen burst activated. Not as good as new.
There, I believe we used the shift to help them out, but we're actually too far away to use it. So,
Okay.
remember it's a 10-meter radius. So here we use it to, I believe, burst heal the Reinhardt, but we're actually out of range. That's more of
Mhm.
like a 15-meter range-ish. I guess Snap, it didn't. I thought it would show the animation, but it didn't. But yeah, in any case, it was too far away, so he didn't actually get any of that.
Not as good as
Yeah.
new.
Good. Good. Watch
So
out.
yeah, either being closer or just making sure we're not wasting the ability, right?
Yeah. If in general, like if I was staying as close to the Rhine as I should be, he would be benefiting from
Mhm.
all the shifts,
Yep,
right?
exactly right. He
Okay. Got
be
it.
remember that's part of just that's part of playing close to your team, is that
Mhm.
shift usage is close ranged. On top of that, both lamp and your right click benefit from being close to people. As first off, it's a lot easier to hit projectiles when you're next to people, right, than when you're really far away from them, because that's just how the nature of projectiles work. It's hard to predict where people are moving. And then on top of that, it means that they're getting it faster, right? So us being close means that they get healing and lamps faster. It's easier to hit, as well as we get to use shift for them. And then also it's going to be a lot easier to use our ultimate for our team when we're next to them, right? So there's a lot of different things that go along with positioning next to our team. So just standing next to our team is just going to be the most effective place to position a lot of the times. Oh, we very nearly got shattered there, but Zari
Yeah.
bubbled.
I was having a hard time
Oh,
keeping it. Oh. That's right. I forgot about that.
Ironheart, you walked off the map.
Fully healed.
My ultimate is ready. Let's do this. Fire its will.
Right, so we maybe called specifically the Death Blossom combo. Oh, I didn't mean to skip there. Where's the Reaper at? Oh, Reaper's inside of them. All right. Did he get stunned out of it because he's not in the animation? Maybe no, he's in it. All right. So I would assume that the reason why we didn't ult was because our team had called to use that combo. I mean, that's which is a good thing. I'm hoping that's the reason.
I hope that's the reason.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Yep.
Yeah,
That,
we were trying to make an effort to not overly use ults, and they called for those. So I said, okay, I'm not going to use wall.
which is good. Yeah, that's a
Okay,
really good move because
okay.
that means that you know, of course you won the fight there, and then that meant you only used 2, and you also comboed those ultimates, so that's really good. That's a situation where holding onto your ultimate is a good situation to hold on to your ult.
Okay.
Okay, reloading, so we're not coming into a fight with 2 shots, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm not reloading here. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
They slightly.
I was like, I don't know why if we needed it, and I was worried that they moved away from it.
Yeah, and in this situation, I'd say it's maybe a little bit too early. Right, you want to like you see how far away they are, right, from you. Which means that they can just continue to back off. The better usage of it would be like more so like if Reinhardt's like right here-ish maybe, or like just a little bit closer, and then that means that look how far back he has to move. He has to move further back, which
I
means that
see.
that's time where you can melt him. So it's the at least we're using it, and it's at the beginning of a fight. It's just maybe slightly too early.
Okay.
And then yeah, they just kind of walked around it, but
Yeah.
we did get a pick out of it. Probably just toss a lamp in there. And very good. Oh, so here we had a bunch of critical people, and we kind of ran away from them. So oh, that's not what I meant to do.
Oh, okay.
All right. So here we throw the lamp in, and then we're gonna notice that we're people are still low, right? So we reload.
Yeah.
We still have we have like 3 people who are down a little bit. People like Reinhardt's fine. Doomfist needs healing. Lucio needs a little bit of healing. Zarya is critical, and then we kind of run around the opposite way, right?
Yeah.
So there we just probably wanted to stick with our team. Oh, and then that was game. Oh, okay, that's
That was
weird.
it. Oh, okay, weird.
I don't know how that ended like
Huh.
that. But in any case, yep, that is. Wait, you didn't even. That's weird. You're at 94%. It looks like the recording just cut out.
Oh, bizarre.
All
Okay.
right. Well, in any case, you got another replay?
Let's see. I quit out of it just to keep my lag down, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm opening it right now. It's loading.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah, Blizzard World was a little bit of I would say a bit of a cluster. Let me give you this one.
All right. All right. Let me get that up.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Blizzard World. Defend objective
All right.
A.
Yeah, this one was a bit of a mess as well. I don't know because we haven't played this map a lot.
Uh-huh. Okay, wanting to make sure we're just like standing in. Reinhardt does not have more movement speed than you, right? You guys have the
True.
exact same movement speed.
Ah.
You and Zarya have the exact same movement speed. Right? The only character who technically has more movement speed than you here is the McCree and the Lucio, or if Reinhardt charges, right? So these guys, you should, if Reinhardt's not charging and McCree's not rolling and Zarya's not, shooting at like boosting herself off the ground and Lucio's not running ahead of you, you should theoretically be able to stick on top of them, but it's because
Mm,
we're allowing space to be put between us that we're not on top of them.
mhm.
So here, when we're walking out, we want to preferably be like right here, right? This
Got it.
means that as we're walking, we get to stay inside of Reinhardt, and these guys up on the high ground can't spam us and do damage to us if we're sitting inside of a Reinhardt and using him as a shield. But instead, we're lagging behind, which means that when we do push, and we kind of peel to the right there, and then because now when we do push, we're lagging behind him, and we take a bunch of damage, right? So now we're gonna be at 58. And okay, we survive it, but potentially that results in our death, and that also means that we need to use an ability earlier, right?
Mhm.
All right. Now everyone is critical right off the bat there. I'm gonna rewind like half a second.
Mhm.
I'm looking really, really far on the ground here. Yeah, we need some practice with just shooting our left clicks as well, which is honestly is gonna come as you use it more often, right?
Got it. Right.
But on top of that, it's just also making sure you're focusing on it and putting effort into it. Right,
Okay.
they were spending some time out in the open, right? Look at our positioning right here, where we're kind of standing smack dab out in the open. We've talked about
Mhm.
positioning before, right? Bad, good positioning is the usage of cover, where Reinhardt's at. Bad positioning is the absence
Mhm.
of cover, right? Where we're at currently. And there's also someone like right above us here, and probably the best option here would be to like really hug the wall, so it makes it really difficult for him to peek
Mm.
over at you. Um, but instead we kind of aren't doing that. So, yep.
Yeah.
Se tan kom gon moun ka veye sou mwen. Got you good as new. You all look like you needed some healing. Let's get patched up.
Lamp, lamp. Oh,
No.
lamp. Right.
I don't
So,
You all look like
in
you
this
needed
situation,
some
right, we hear the dragon, we're going, okay, where's the dragon
Yeah.
coming from? It's probably, I mean, it's not going into Narnia, right? It's not like he's gonna be
Right.
tossing it over here or all over there, right? It's probably going towards you guys, and that works with the assumption that they're shooting at us. They know where we're at, so we have to make the assumption when we hear the dragon, we're like, okay, I'm ready to lamp. I'm ready to lamp. As soon as we see that it's like coming through the floor here and it's hitting us, we're throwing lamp immediately, like right now, because you have you who's about to
Mhm.
die. You have McCree who's about to, or whatever. Who's the other one? Yeah, McCree is about to die as well, right? So in this situation that makes sure you stay alive. We also could lamp here as well, and then we drop out in the open where they could shoot us. So
But I'm
just
like 3 seconds from lamp, right?
nope. Yeah, we have lamp here. We've had lamp this whole time.
Oh,
That's our shift. I think you're looking
sorry.
at.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that would have been a perfect time for lamp.
Mhm.
Se tan kom
Yeah, I
gon moun ka
see.
veye sou mwen. Regen burst activated.
Okay. There's a couple brain fart thingies. First off, we
Yeah.
shift nothing, right? We're full HP and there's no one around us. Secondly,
Mhm.
we're gonna miss a bunch of shots. Shot into wall, shot into ground, another shot into wall, shot into
Mhm.
ground. Right, so we just kind of spam out 4 shots into nothing, and we use shift on nothing. So just making sure we're not brain farting. All right, is Ryan Hard low?
He's low.
He's
Or
like
he's half.
half.
He's
Yeah, he's
half.
half.
Or just above
Is
half.
he
Yeah.
is he in danger?
No.
right? So remember, we've
Right.
talked about that previously, right? Where we kind of look
Mhm.
at the danger level of people. Currently, Reinhardt,
Mhm.
even if he's half HP, he's not in danger, right? Whereas, let's say, for
Mhm.
example, Zarya is full HP, but is Zarya in danger?
Yeah.
Yep,
She's
Zarya's
right in
probably,
window.
yeah, she's like right in front of her window. They have a bongo going. Yes, she has 6 people looking at her. So I would imagine here in a moment, if they're looking at her and they aim at her, Zarya's probably going to get melted in like within the next 2 seconds, right? Whereas this lamp on Reinhardt didn't really do anything in particular, right?
Well, I'm hoping that sometimes when, in my opinion, she's
Mm-hmm.
out of position because she's in front of window, there's bongo. Sometimes I put a lamp down as so I hope that people go into it.
Mm. Yeah, so I mean, she's really, really far from that one, right? But you know,
Yeah.
as an option here, we could like lamp, like try we could lamp maybe like here. That might,
Right.
I think that might possibly get covered by this thing right here. I don't know. I don't actually know if that's high enough to or not.
Right.
We could lamp right behind this pillar, and then maybe that could mean that like if Zarya just
Right.
moves like
Right.
left or right, then she gets it. Or we could just lamp out in the open and give her an extra second of life. I mean, like, I think anywhere
Mhm.
over here would just be better than being it over here. And it doesn't, I don't even know if we are paying attention to this area when we're throwing this lamp. I don't even know if that's
Mhm.
like who we're even using it for.
Maybe
Um,
not in this instance, but
yeah.
it's sometimes that's kind of my thinking, but I
Mhm.
don't I see what you're
Yeah,
saying, like, it should
sometimes
be
some
closer.
exactly. Sometimes like that is
Okay.
fine. I think that's completely fine to be throwing a lamp and expecting your team to move towards it, as long as it's not too
Okay.
far away. If it's like a couple inches
Gotcha.
away, and it's the difference between like for example, let's say like this, right? Let's say Zari is a little bit further to the left, and you're trying to throw a lamp, right? If we're trying to hit it directly on top of her, that puts the lamp out in the open. But if we're trying to get it
Yeah.
behind the corner, that means Zari has to walk a little bit to the right to get to it, right? So
Yeah.
that's where we get into the predicament. Sometimes it's going to be better to throw it around the corner so that it stays alive longer than 2 seconds, right?
Mhm.
But you know, sometimes it's not going to be worth it. And sometimes you need to throw it over at the Zarya because she's going to die if you don't, right? So
Mhm.
it's gonna be situational. It's going to depend on the situation. In this situation, this lamp didn't do anything in particular, right?
Right, right.
And then we're also kind of walking this. Oh,
Light them
I
up.
on slow mo, but we're also walking
Mhm.
this way, and we're not paying attention to Zarya, who is critical right next to us.
Mhm.
Focus the bongo. Bongo's really, really important to just to focus down and kill. Bongos that are just kind of out in
Mm.
the open. Um, and
Light
I
them
might have
up.
said this before, but I don't think I did to you. But in any case,
Mhm.
just as a fun fact of the game,
Mhm.
Bongo is the highest fight-winning ultimate in the game. So if you have
Oh my
Bongo available and online, you are the most likely out of any other ultimate in the game to win that fight, right?
whoa.
So we just want to make sure we're taking care of it when we have very, very easy access to it at the moment, right? We could like two tap that, right, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Or Hanzo here would be fine too, right? But he's oh, we stopped. Oh, I didn't even catch that part.
Get in here.
What?
We stopped shooting at Hanzo to heal Reinhardt, who's full HP, right?
Light them up.
Hanzo
Yeah.
out in the open, 1 HP. Reinhardt
Right,
pretty
right,
much full
right.
HP. Finish the kill off, right? Easy kill to finish off.
Yep.
He gets away because we don't, right? On top of that, we go for
Mhm.
here. I just say take out the bongo, right? Get rid of that threat.
Mhm.
All better.
Walking through the open, and then therefore that gets us killed, right? Watch our positioning. You're gonna be better
Right.
off just sitting further back near cover than walking through the open and trying to run to your team. That's just how it's gonna work.
Mhm. I think I lost 100% lost track of that Hanzo. I assumed somebody got him because he was like less than half
It's
HP.
best to just secure the kill, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Yep. I see that 100%.
Regen burst activated.
Just as an example here, just reload
Mhm.
habits. 5 ammo, 39 shots. This is a perfect time to reload. Or sorry, and we shoot you a little bit more here too. When
Mhm.
we're rotating over the other side, this is a perfect time to reload because we're not
Regen
doing
burst
anything else, right?
activated.
Right.
Just
But
as an
I
just
shipped
in
it
this
instead.
example. Yep. Over healing, right? Over healing. Okay. Over healing, right? These guys are all
Mhm.
have a beat on them. Healing is not needed when
Mhm.
everyone's full HP and has a beat, right? That's not how it works, right? So if we look at our team's health bars, we look at every single person. Every single person's like pretty much full HP, and they have a beat online. So healing is not necessary right at the moment. We can just shoot. Whoo! That's a lot of the ultimates. Okay, so it
Yeah.
looks like we just
Whoa.
overulted there by a lot.
Damn.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4.
5.
Jeez. 5.
Right. So we used every ult
Wow.
besides ours. So yeah, that was an overult on our team's part, but we're not doing the team part here.
Right.
Right.
Double time. Ooh, this is gonna make you feel better.
So the only ult we're relying off here is like ours if we get it, but so in between fights, just make sure we're getting in spam damage. Here we're just kind of sitting and healing nothing, right? Getting spam damage that we maybe get our ult online here. All right.
How about a little extra healing?
Good lamp, maybe slightly. Like if we're gonna put it out in the open, make sure it's coming out in the open fast, right? That way we get
Right.
get on them as fast as possible. So as soon as he launches it, there's a second before it actually reaches us. So from the time that he launches it, we can see it. So dragon lamp comes
Yeah.
out like right now, right? But instead it's
Yeah.
slightly delayed, and then in that
Yep.
time he dies.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this still pretty winnable? Okay, they're kind of out in the open. Reinhardt's way out of position at the moment. I don't know why he's over there, but in any case, also not paying too much attention to Reinhardt when he's 1 HP, and then we missed some shots on him there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm healing the cart.
Yep. All right. So at that point, that's lost. Mainly, honestly, the big thing there was just that we over ulted in the last fight as a team. That was a very winnable fight. If we had like we used 5 ults last fight. Like let's say we used 2 or 3, that means that we have an additional 2 or 3 ultimates, right, for the for that last fight, right, which means they have a big advantage. All right, here. Yep, we catch up to our team. Good. Oh, you guys got shredded. Alright. Yep, decent. Wanna look to use our ult though. Right, let's maybe take a look at this, right? How far on the open are they? They're pretty far on the open, so what if we just like put window, like we see our teams pushing forwards, right? What if we put window like pretty far forwards here and put it like right here, right? Kinda like right in front of the Hanzo, right? And we just like plopped it real far in front of our team. That'd be pretty perfect way to use it. Like if we're trying not to have Reinhardt die, we could throw a lamp down real quick, right? Just toss a lamp, use our ult, and then heal him back up, right? But here we're not using our ults, right? When that maybe it was the perfect opportunity to, when they were kind of only on the open, didn't have anywhere to run, but we can still use it. Just want to make sure we are. And still not using it, right? It's just okay, coming up pretty late, going for one of us rather than everyone, right?
This tank in particular, Speggy, he
a trial?
He's a new tank, but
Okay.
he doesn't. He said he would prefer if I put the ultimate down in front of me and healed through it, versus because I was trying previously to position it for them, the whole team, to use. So I'm kind of struggling with what I should be doing with it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
it's gonna be situational, but most of the time, especially like if you're using it, like let's say you use it at the very beginning of the fight, why is Reinhardt going to be so low that you're gonna need it for healing?
Right.
And now if you're using it in the middle of the fight, then that changes slightly. Reinhardt might be critical, and therefore he might need it for you to be in front of him. But in this situation, he wasn't, right? So in this situation, he has most of his HP. It's just coming out really late. So in this situation, we could use it behind us. Like that's a situation. Like if we need to get a ton of healing in, we could use it in front of us. But most of the time, especially if we're coming into the fight and using it early, you're going to find the most. Excuse me. We're going to find the most value out of it being in front of our whole team, right?
Yep.
Also, there's no amount of healing that's gonna heal Reinhardt through that when he's discorded, as they all have bongo and he's getting shredded like in half of a second. Okay, overhealing, reload, overhealing,
How about a little extra?
shifting nothing.
Get in here.
I lamped myself. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, our team's all over the place at the moment.
Yeah.
This is just kind of we're in need of a group up at the moment.
Mhm.
Okay, now we do get a pick, so this is maybe looking winnable. We're just like so spread out, I can't even tell what's going on. We have 4
Right.
people, so it's a 4v4. This is winnable, right? So we here as a team, if we can just push forwards. Now we're down another. Now that's okay. This is lost now. All right.
Yeah. And then our range switched to ball. I don't think I was aware that he switched.
Mhm.
This is kind of where I think it all falls apart even more.
Mhm. Yeah, there should be a call out that he makes. Hopefully, I mean,
Mhm.
if our team's communicating. Are
Mhm.
you saying that for maybe like are you saying maybe like swap to like Ana or something
I
if you
might
knew he
have.
was on ball?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mm.
probably would have swapped to Anna because I don't know if ball and
Don't work too well.
Gap
Yeah.
work well.
Nope, they
Right.
don't. Yeah, so yeah, that's correct. That'd probably be a good decision. Both like
Mhm.
because like looking at like the two people in particular that Bap doesn't pair too well with are Tracer and Ball, right? But because
Yeah.
he can't heal them too well, Lamp isn't really going to do very much for them because it's most time they're just going to be run. They're trying to run away whenever they're low, and they're not going to stay in there, right? So
Right.
Lamp's gonna be all of our abilities are just going to be very very difficult to land, and they're never going to be close to us, which means that we as we talked about with all the closeness positioning, we're going to lose out a whole lot of value. So no, it's not a very good combo.
Mhm.
Yeah. Over healing, healing nothing, lamping nothing,
Lamping
right?
nothing. Right.
No, not lamping anyone in particular, right? Just making sure in that situation you'd probably just be better off shooting or looking for someone who actually does need
Mm.
healing. Very big combo. Yep, so even right now we could even make the swap too. Even if we're like 50% to our ult, we
Yeah.
have spawn right next to us. Like usually you're gonna
That's
you'll
good.
yeah, you'll
Yeah.
find when it comes to like, do I swap? I'm close to my ult, right? That debate. Even if you have your ultimate, sometimes it's worth to swap, especially if you're either up against a counter comp or you're not working or your character's not good with your comp, right? It's just gonna be
Mhm.
worth it because it's you can always make that argument. You're gonna be at 50% to your ult more than half of the game. Over half of the
That's
game you're
true.
going to be at 50% your ult, right? So that's almost always going to be an argument you can make. I almost have my ult, right? So you might as well swap and start charging up your next ult on an actually good better character for the comp that you're running. So that's just to settle that debate in your mind. All right.
That's a good one. That's a good one to remember.
Yep. All right. So we'll do the review main points
Mhm.
and then yep, we'll wrap it up from there. So just
Okay.
as a reminder, right, just making sure that we're focusing on like really focusing on one thing in particular or like 1 to 3 category one category or 1 to 3 things, and then that's how we're going to look to improve.
Mhm.
I think yeah, we'll talk about that when we go over the main points, but I think I already have in mind like just like what we're going to be doing. But in any case,
Okay.
shift usage, now since I looked more at it, I think we did use it a lot unnecessarily. So ability usage in general went up a little bit on my list. So
Mhm.
shift, we used it a ton when it wasn't necessary. So we'd use it like when we were full HP. We'd use it when no one else was low around us. We would use it when we were like super far away from everyone. Remember, it's a 10-meter distance, right? So it's like from here to there. And we'd use it like when we were like all the way over here from people.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind the radius on it.
Mhm.
On top, and then there's a lot of times we just waste it in situations, but there's also really good a lot of times. So it's just inconsistent. Lamp,
Mhm.
kind of same thing. Couple times it just didn't do the best. Look to always use cover. Make sure that we're timing it a little bit earlier. Sometimes we just reacted a little bit late to stuff, right? When people were shooting at our teammates or whatever, we just react late with a lamp. So just make sure we're really putting a
Mhm.
lot of effort into making sure it's on time. And then besides that, that's pretty much it. Make sure it's not going out in the open, but you're trying to look to use cover and you're placing it, and you're using it when people are in danger, not just low HP like on the Reinhardt in that one time.
Mhm.
Ultimate usage. Make sure we're not holding on to it and we're using it,
Mhm.
earlier in fights, right? We don't. I think that was one of the bigger ones with our ult was just we use it late fight or mid fight. Make sure not
Mhm.
that we are using it early fight because that's where it gets the most value out of our ultimates,
Okay.
right? And then on top of that, it's gonna stop you from like accidentally just never getting to use it because then you just end up
Yeah.
losing, right? On top of that, make sure it's going in front of your team for the most part, and then, you know, especially if you're using it at the beginning, that's going to be where it's the most valuable, because it's not like you need burst healing when your whole team is full HP, right? But you can put it in front of you in certain situations if you need burst healing. Now, on from there to mechanics. Mechanics is a couple different things. First off, you know, just in general, shooting at stuff with left click needs a little bit of work, but that'll come with time, especially if you're using it more often. But also knowing when to left click versus right click. We're left clicking very rarely at the moment. It's kind of like 80-20 split, whereas we probably want to have like a 60-40, so like 2 times the amount of shooting that we're doing currently, right? Most likely. And it's all going to be situational, of course, of when we do it, but we just want to make sure we're looking to use our left click more often and shoot at things more often. On top of that, overhealing was another big one. We were just healed a lot. Of course, you don't need me to go into depth on that because we talked about that like 10 times already, right? Then on from there, we have positioning. Couple times just out in the open, right? Make sure we're not, you know, standing out in the open, but we're using cover properly. And then on from there, make sure we're taking high ground and we're sticking with the bigger, probably one of the bigger ones, aside from not being on the open, was sticking with our team, because sometimes we just get a little bit too separated, right? Where we just make sure sticking on top of them, because that's where you find the most value. And if you're playing with characters that can't stick with you, like a Ball or a Tracer, then you might be better off on a different character than Bap, like Ana, right? That just pair well. And then on from there to awareness, right? Pay attention to health bars, really, really big one. A lot of times we just would kind of like aim down here on people, like we kind of have our camera angle like this, and then we can't see health bars. Make sure we're seeing health bars, or we're, you know, we're shooting and then looking up, right? But I think the big one is just to keep your camera angle so you can see health bars and you're paying attention to them, right? That way we're actually knowing when we're overhealing and knowing when to shoot. On from there, pay attention to, you know, or what are some other ones? Trying to think here. When we are low and when other people are low, to use our, use shift and use our ultimate, or not our ultimate, use our lamp, right? Pay attention to, where our team is and the enemy team is, so we can use our ultimate a little bit better, right? And then also not make too many mistakes. And then really, that is honestly it. So now, now that I'm thinking through it, just awareness as a category doesn't seem as overbearing as it once was. So
Right.
So main points, number one, we're putting at mechanics. So the biggest one just being overhealing and knowing when to shoot at people, right? And using our left click more often. That's probably the biggest one, and making sure we're getting ready with that, right? So that is going to stem from you being aware, both of those are going to stem from you being aware of health bars. So that's basically if you're looking to work on all your stuff here, one of the biggest ones is just going to be pay attention to health bars, right? That way you can work on your mechanics, right? Number two is going to be just general awareness. Number three, we're going to put at positioning. Number four, we're going to put at... trying to think through this. Ability usage, and then number 5 is ultimate usage. I think that ultimate usage, just even though we didn't, it's hard to say because I think with our actually, I'll flip those around. We'll do ultimate usage and then ability usage.
Okay.
Those are pretty close things, right? And they are pretty important, but it's just the other ones are just kind of a little bit over top of it, right? So, yep. Any questions on anything we've talked about?
No, I think we're good, and I agree with taking the 2 weeks for me to work on stuff. For me, the standouts are the obvious things we keep going over, but I feel like I need to use M1 more.
Yeah.
Like that Hanzo was, and the Orisa Bongo was just right there, both of them. That kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
it was all connected to awareness, which is very unfortunate. That's why we can't get rid of awareness. But it just, I have to kind of distill it down.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you, I'm trying to think through this. Honestly, if you got if you worked on this mechanics thing, that would just honestly knock two things right off like out of the ballpark. Like if you
Yeah.
get good with the overhealing and knowing when to shoot, then honestly those two would probably go to the bottom, and we'd have awareness and that at the all the way bottom, and we could work on other things because awareness is just really closely tied. So why don't we honestly, just to make it easier, just tie those two together, honestly. Like, just make it, it's just going to be mechanics / awareness, right? Just because those two kind
I
of go
think
hand in
good.
hand, and then that way, like, just work on those, and then if you fix those after the 2 weeks, now we're with the other three, right? And then now we can iron those out and get better with those, right?
I like that. That resonates. Yep. I get
All
it.
right. So,
Okay, cool.
yep. I'm going to stop the recording.